help video number 2. So I previously said in another video, Discovery 3 is with us. It is a wonderful vehicle, love it. Silly things like the masses of roofs, well, not masses of roofs, there's one roof, lots of glass, lots of visibility, the light coloured interior, 7 seats. It's a wonderful car, but I am reluctant to just start spending money, just throwing money at faults that could be there, and then realising that actually those faults are not what I thought they were. I've spent the money and it needs to go again. You could spend, I think it's the same with every older car. Every car that's sort of been around the block a few times, if it's got high mileage or even if it's just older, you can get into a trap of just spending loads of money because you may as well just do those things that need to be fixed. Now, that's not my intention with all the vehicles that I've got. I want to fix things that need fixing rather than just throwing the money at them. One of the reasons that I wanted to buy older vehicles is to keep them on the road for longer, but also because I don't want to spend loads and loads of money each month on repayments. So if I'm just going to replace paying an HP payment or a PCP on a new vehicle, I might as well just, if I'm spending the same amount of money on an old vehicle, I might just go and buy the new vehicle and not have the aggro of fixing the bits. Yes, it's fun, but it's costing me money every time I try and fix something, so I don't want to do that on every vehicle. With this vehicle, with the car, there's 2 things I really want to look at and address. There are things that are nice to have, so like with this really crap weather at the moment, I really want to look at why the front heated seats aren't working and if I can fix them. Or the parking sensors don't work either, which again, I don't really want to go and mess with them. I just don't hit things. It's a lot easier to just take a bit more time and then leave a bit of extra space than rely on the parking sensors. Don't know, that keeps sliding itself down. Anyway, so the fault I'm asking for help with today is a very specific thing, and it's like a kind of a juddery sensation. It definitely happens between sort of 40 and 50 miles an hour. So you get down the motorway and you'll feel it just like going, like the car just starts to judder. And it is a sort of a sensation where it feels like it's the transmission, like where it's just like something's happening and it doesn't quite feel smooth and slick and effective. It led me to think that, again, this is a guess, an assumption, but I'd like, if anyone knows how to prove this is the case or not, what it feels like to me is that it's the the transmission in some way. There's something that's not quite slick, not quite right. I've read quite a bit about the oil in the gearbox. It's meant to be sealed for life, and it's not sealed for life. You could actually change it and you can get around it, and there are ways to replace it, and that takes away some faults. But I don't know whether this fault is specifically because of the oil or whether there's something else I need to diagnose. So if there's anyone who can clarify whether the sensation that I've got is it, or whether there's some other way of proving that it's the oil that needs to be sorted, then I'll get into it. The likes of, I think it's Powerful UK, those guys have done a really good video about how to change the plastic sump, because it has still got a plastic sump under there. It's not a metal sump. So someone has either replaced it with a plastic one or it hasn't ever been replaced. So it's still got a plastic sump under there. You can buy a metal sump, new screws, new oil, and a separate filter, whereas the original's got the filter built in, and it's an easier job to cut the old filter out, replace the sump, and away you go. So I can do that job. It's probably not a massive one. I think I found a place that's selling the oil, the sump, and everything that you need for 150 quid, so it's not a massive cost. Look, how about that? I never knew that until I'm starting to watch myself on the video. Anyway, so the sump can be replaced, that's not a problem, but I don't again want to get to the aggro of doing it because it is an oily, messy job. It means chopping through the filter and getting it all out. You've got to make sure that the new sump goes on and is sealed properly. So there's a load of things that you could get wrong by changing it, and it might cause further problems down the line, or I might give myself an oil leak, or something else might happen. And it is obviously right under the car, right in the middle of the car, and it's not a nice place to be, underneath the middle of the car doing it, and I haven't got a ramp. So yeah, if there's a way to confirm that I need to change that sump, then brilliant, please tell me. And the other thing that I've not got not too excited about is when I looked at the Powerful guys, they had to like blow oil out and run the engine a little bit just to try and get the extra bits of oil out. While the oil capacity in the box is quite large, just dropping the sump down and taking the sump plug out doesn't actually release that much oil. And the last thing I want to do is keep on having to do it to get it. I'd rather get the job done once and be finished with it. So anyway, that's my hunch on that one. More videos coming down the line. I'm hoping to get onto the heated seats. Again, I'm going to teach myself how to use a multimeter properly and see if I can diagnose exactly where the heated seat fault is. Again, rather than changing everything, and then realising that maybe stripping the seat to pieces, putting new mats in, and realising that the fault lies in the wiring somewhere. I'm going to try and diagnose that to know exactly what my problem is, and then get on to fix that. Hopefully that will give a bit more content I can start to show you about how to fix those bits. Like I said, there's an X-type Jaguar to my left. That's a 59,000 mile car. There's other videos on that one. I've got a few things I'm liking to do on that one, but again, if there's anything specific people are thinking, oh, I'd like to hear about that, then give me a shout. My nephew's currently got his eyes, or he's technically owning, or will be owning, the Grande Punto over on the far end of the driveway. So that's going at some point. If anybody wants to know anything about that, any content, anything else on the Punto, then we can have it. We've done a few jobs on that one too. I'll introduce that to the channel before it goes. But it's the least exciting car out of all of them. It's a good little first car, good little learner car, but it's definitely the car that has excited me the least of any car I've had recently. Perfect for a first car, but that's about as far as it goes. Right, on the bike, I don't plan on doing any content on that because the weather is crap, and I'm a bit of a fair weather rider. I like to ride when it's nicer. I do it for fun, not for commuting or anything. So anyone wants any content on the R1, let me know, and I'll get something planned in for the sort of the warmer weather. Until then, I will go and see if I can find out what I can start doing on this heated seat, and if I get any progress, I'll record that too. Right, bye for now.